Good evening, football fans, and welcome to a playoff edition of the Coach's Corner. I am Jeff Briscoe, and it's my favorite time of year because our local teams have both made it to the state playoffs. Certainly an exciting time for high school football, and it's a good night to keep it right here on 1070 The Zone. That's right, because in just a little bit, about 7:15 tonight, right here, we will have the broadcast of tonight's Charlotte Tarpons football game. Charlotte Tarpons making the long trip to the East Coast, the Fort Pierce area. In the regional quarterfinal action, they will take on the Westwood Panthers. Should be a fun game. We're going to preview that in just a few minutes. But first, let's thank our great sponsor bringing you tonight's show, the Coach's Corner. Whenever we talk Charlotte Tarpons football and I sit down with Coach Binky Waldrop, we are sponsored by Greg's Automotive. Right in downtown Punta Gorda, serving all your automotive repair needs with yesterday's service and tomorrow's technology. That's Greg's Automotive, proudly supporting Charlotte High School, the Charlotte Tarpons, and the Coach's Corner. Greg's Automotive, we thank them for their great support. Now, let's go ahead and set the scene for tonight's game. I mentioned both of our local schools making it to the playoffs. The Port Charlotte Pirates, they're on the road tonight. They'll be in Hillsborough, taking on Hillsborough High School for their regional quarterfinal matchup. For the Charlotte Tarpons, also a road game over to the East Coast to face the Westwood Panthers. Last week on senior night, the Tarpons ended the season, regular season that is, on an emphatic note with a 37-0 victory over Island Coast High School. Good to see the Tarpons firing on all cylinders. Offense looked strong. Defense pitched a shutout. A celebratory night, senior night. A salute to not only the seniors on the football team, but all fall sports, band, cheerleaders. It's a fun night. Great job, Charlotte Tarpons, taking care of business just a week ago. Now, the week before that, since we've done a Tarpon game, season really came down to that October 25th matchup at Southeast High School. One of those schools wouldn't make it to the playoffs, and Charlotte took the 43-31 victory on the road over a very good Southeast High School team on the outside looking in as a result, and the Tarpons, they do advance to the playoffs. Tough road win. Certainly going to speak with Coach Waldrop about that one, a game that really helped propel the Tarpons into the postseason. Now, Tarpons, 4 of 5 teams in this district do make it to the playoffs. So it's certainly been a brutal schedule for the Charlotte Tarpons, but you'd expect nothing else, and they come out of the regular season with a 7-3 record, good enough to advance to the state playoffs, where tonight, 7:30, they'll take on the Westwood Panthers. With that being said, let's break it all down with Coach Binky Waldrop here on the Coach's Corner. We reached the postseason of the high school football schedule. The Charlotte Tarpons do make it into the playoffs, 6th overall seed in the region, and you had to do it, Coach, by winning on the field, consecutive victories a couple of weeks ago, 43-31 over Southeast High School, and last week close out the regular season, 37-0 over Island Coast.
Yeah, we had a couple tough losses there at the end to Palmetto and Port Charlotte, and came back and went up and beat a good Southeast team, and won our final home game on senior night last Friday and got in the playoffs. Not only got in, but actually ended up with a pretty high seed in our region.
Yeah, and the way things worked out, and we suspected this about this district when it was announced last year or earlier this year, 4 of 5 schools ended up going to the playoffs. Actually, all of the wild cards, or 3 of the 4 anyway, end up going to representatives of this district. So when you look back, Coach, a couple of weeks ago, that road win against Southeast, playoff spot was on the line, and your kids came through in a road game, always a difficult task.
Yeah, we went up, didn't really play real well in the first half. We were down by 2. Our kids hung in there and kept fighting, and, what a great win it ended up being for us.
Jeff Briscoe here with Coach Binky Waldrop as we get ready for Tarpon playoff football tonight. Tarpons will travel to the East Coast and face the Westwood Panthers, Fort Pierce Westwood. Coach, of course, this time of year, we often don't know too much about the schools we're playing. I know you have a chance to look at them limitedly, but in your research and such, what can we expect from the Westwood Panthers?
Well, we're 3 hours apart, so you really don't know a whole lot about them, other than what you see on film. Can be a little different than actually seeing something in person or live, but, they're very athletic. They're a great football team. They like to throw the football. They got some great athletes at wide receiver. They have a lot of team speed. To be a district champ, and beat some of the teams that they have. And in fact, their two losses are to a couple of state powerhouses. I know one of them was Daytona Beach Mainland, one of the best teams in the state. But, something that we're looking forward to and, going over and hopefully playing a great game.
Yeah, certainly a school. You mentioned Mainland. We hear them this time of year, every year in the playoffs. As we break down Westwood's record, as you mentioned, 7-2 on the season. They are district champs in 6A11 with a 4-0 mark, a perfect mark in the district. So certainly a lot of respect for what they do. But in terms of what we do, one thing with this being a road game and a longer road trip, I know it's been a few years. This is certainly something you're familiar with, but with this group of seniors and even the underclassmen, this will be the longest trip game day that they gear up to make. So describe for us how your routine is a little different going into this one.
Well, you prepare the same way. Kids know it's a little added value because when you lose, your season's over with. A little longer trip. So, we're stopping in Okeechobee and eating our pregame meal. Then driving on over. You eat at the same time you would do if we're playing here. You start at the same time. So really the only difference is, you're eating in an unfamiliar place. So, we're looking forward to it. We've been here before. Got a great plan for Friday. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, continuity is so important, and you certainly like to keep routines in place. It sounds like, despite this one being a little different, trying to make it similar for the kids' benefit. Jeff Briscoe here with Coach Binky Waldrop. A couple more minutes. Coach, I want to ask you about the week of practice. We know this is gearing up for a big game. Everyone's dealing with injuries this time of year, so that's kind of a given that you're dealing with lumps like that. But in terms of the team and their readiness, what kind of week of practice did you have?
Well, we had a great week of practice. We've had to alter things for a couple of kids that are a little banged up that are going to play Friday, as far as not trying to let them hit so much in practice during the week, but getting them ready to play. It's things you deal with late in the year. Everybody has kids that are beat up a little bit. We'll have everybody on our team ready to play and ready to go.
And now, Coach, last couple of minutes, I want to step away from this playoff game. Certainly, we look forward to more to come, but I want to reflect on this season. A 7-3 mark, I think a lot of character that was shown, and let's focus especially on your seniors, this senior class. So many of them in your starting lineups, and, Larry and I call the ball handlers and make sure they get a lot of attention, but I like to spend a few minutes with some of the team leaders that aren't always the ones getting in the end zone, or maybe aren't the ones making the game-breaking play. I'll give you a couple of names and to give you a chance to reflect on their contributions to the program or anyone else you'd like to single out. But how about on special teams, the long snapper, every now and then he sneaks in the end zone himself, Jake Sheets. And on defense, I think that anchor you have on the defensive line, we missed him a little bit this season. Good to see him back out there, Xavier Finnerty.
Yeah, we just got an incredible senior class, 22 seniors this year. Last week was senior week, senior night for our game, and did a couple really cool special things with these guys last week after practice. Really cool, just an incredible group of young men. The things that they've done this year as far as community involvement. Last Friday at our pregame meal, they presented a check for $2,600 to the American Cancer Society. Jake is just a tremendous kid. He's got over a 4.0 grade point average. He's been our long snapper for 3 years, and just what a great feeling it is, a head coach, to have a kid like that, as good as he is, and he may end up doing this in college. He's that good, that you don't have to worry about that. I can't tell you how nice that is. I don't think he's had a bad snap all year long. Xavier, just another special kid. He's our big boy in the middle on defense. 270-pound nose guard, strong as an ox, and creates a lot of double teams. But he's just another high character kid that we just love to death. He's going to play hurt. He's going to be a great leader. Just does so many things for our football team.
Yeah, great words, Coach, not only for Jake and Xavier, but all the seniors. A prime example of leadership here at Charlotte High School. We're so proud of them. We're grateful for the impact they make on the field and off the field as well. Coach, good luck in tonight's game. Playoffs, round 1. Tarpons against the Westwood Panthers should be a lot of fun. Go get them.
Thank you.
And that was Coach Binky Waldrop here on the Coach's Corner. Always good to talk with him, especially when it means we play on. The season continues for the playoffs, regional quarterfinals tonight. Certainly hope the Charlotte Tarpons have a deep run in store. And who knows, if the Pirates do the same, there is the possibility of our two local teams meeting in a regional final. A lot has to happen between now and then. So let's start with a couple of victories tonight, and specifically a Charlotte Tarpon victory as they take on the Westwood Panthers. Westwood Academy on the East Coast, the Fort Pierce area. Now, if you're a Tarpons fan and you just can't make the trip to the Atlantic coast, make sure you keep it right here on 1070 The Zone. Number of ways to listen to the game tonight. Over the air is best. We'll be on live. Myself, Jeff Briscoe, my partner, Larry Timko, from the press box at Westwood Academy. We go on air at 7:15 with our pregame show, 7:30 with live play-by-play call of tonight's action. If you can't listen on radio, how about streaming? Check out the website, 1070thezone.com. You could stream the call of the game right from a computer or a phone. And if you do listen on the phone, check out the iHeart Radio app. Look up this station, WKII, and you'll be able to listen to the call of the game right from the app. So a lot of different ways to listen to this one, Tarpons fans. No excuses. Either make the trip with us or check it out online, on air, or on your phone. Now, once again, whenever I'm chatting with Tarpons head football coach Binky Waldrop, we are sponsored by Greg's Automotive, right in downtown Punta Gorda, serving this community and all its automotive repair needs with yesterday's service and tomorrow's technology. That's Greg's Automotive, supporting Charlotte High School, the Charlotte Tarpons, and the Coach's Corner. We're grateful for their support and invite you to check them out and tell them the Coach's Corner and Jeff Briscoe sent you. So tonight, you know where to be. Come to the game, Westwood Academy, Fort Pierce, or keep it right here on 1070 The Zone. It's been a fun season for the Tarpons, an impressive 7-3 mark, but you know what? I think these seniors, they have some unfinished business. Let's see if Jeremiah Harvey, Jake Sheets, Xavier Finnerty, of course, quarterback John Boucher, and the whole team can bring home the victory from the East Coast to right here in Charlotte County. Should be fun. Make sure you tune in later for the call of the game. On behalf of Coach Binky Waldrop and Greg's Automotive, I am Jeff Briscoe, thanking you for listening to this playoff edition of the Coach's Corner and saying, Go Tarpons!